What up, is Dane, and in this video I'm going to be telling you how to build muscle with calisthenics, so bodyweight training. I first started off with this and I think it's good to start off with, and a lot of people have recently been messaging me asking me how do I build muscle with calisthenics, what workout programs, how many calories do I need to eat, all these kinds of questions, so hence why I'm making this video. So in this video I'm going to be telling you exactly how to build muscle. Okay, to start things off, we'll start with nutrition. First of all, you have to remember that with calisthenics or bodyweight training you can still gain muscle as long as you're adding resistance, but I'll get into the nutrition aspect first. So I'll try and speak slower because usually in all my videos I speak really fast. Okay, so nutrition, you need to be eating in a calorie surplus, right? So forget supplements for a minute. We concentrate about the calorie balance, the big picture. You're not going to gain muscle if you don't do this, so make sure to listen up here. Eat in a calorie surplus, right? So in order to do this, so step number one is surplus. In order to do this, 15 times your body weight in pounds. Once you have that number, plus 500, right? That plus 500 is going to create a surplus, meaning that amount of nutrients is going to be used to repair muscle tissue and grow your muscles bigger, right? And the most simplest terms for people to understand. Of course, you'll gain a little bit of fat, but only a really tiny bit, because if you are, especially if you're new and you're doing bodyweight training, your body will utilize most of those calories in order to build muscle. Compared to if I was to do it, someone that's been training for a bit longer, some of those calories would be used more for fat storage than muscle, but that's a completely different video. I don't want to get too much into that. So that's nutrition. The big picture is calorie surplus, and I'm going to get into quite detailed information in depth, right? So you can really understand it, and I want to tell you everything you need to know. So make sure to watch the whole video if you're serious about getting massive bodyweight exercise. So yeah. Step number one is calorie surplus. Step number two is your macronutrient ratio. Typically I tell people just to worry about the protein intake. Don't worry too much about the carbs and fats, they can sort itself out. When you start worrying about all three of these, in fact the cortisol levels will go up, and you'll start holding more water. So when you step on a scale, your water retention will obviously be going up, so you'll be like, oh man, I'm gaining way too much weight, I need to cut the calories, like stuff like this, right? So just worry about your protein intake and your calorie balance, which of course is going to be a calorie surplus. To get your protein intake, I typically recommend about 1 gram per pound of body weight. You can even go as low as 0.8 grams per pound of body weight, but just keep it about 1 gram. It's not a lot to consume. So now we have the surplus and the protein intake. Let me just talk about meal frequency, meal timing, and all these kind of things. So first of all, a meal frequency probably plays about maybe 5%, even less. I wouldn't worry about this stuff. How can we say? If you do intermittent fasting though with bodyweight exercises, you need to be a little bit careful, because if you don't eat about 5 to 6 hours after workout, and of course you didn't eat anything before workout, so anything pre-workout, then you might start going catabolic. So you're probably going to get real worried now, but don't get too worried. Just don't go 4 to 6 hours after your workout without eating, right? Your muscles start breaking down a little bit, so just get like even 3 meals a day is good enough, right? That's real good enough. You don't need to eat 6 meals a day with like a backpack with loads of like little Tupperware stuff. You don't need to do that. Okay, so that's meal frequency. Meal timing, you don't necessarily need to have a protein shake straight after your workout either, and I'll get into supplements in a second. Meal timing has been shown, like research has shown almost no benefit of this. In fact, it's unclear, so there might be a benefit, there might not, but personally I just recommend not stressing about meal timing. Here's one thing I have to mention: if you don't eat anything pre-workout and you don't have anything during workout, not that you would eat something during the workout really, and then post-workout, that's when I recommend having a bit of protein kind of better sooner than later, right? Because you didn't have anything pre-workout or during either. So if you have something pre-workout, like say a meal like whatever, scrambled eggs on toast, something like this, you don't really need to have as much protein post-workout. So yeah, that's really important to know. And if you really want to get really deep into detail, have about 20 grams of protein post-workout, just to reach that leucine threshold. For older people, this would be like 40 grams. Okay, so the last bit on the nutrition and supplements, and like I said, it's going to be a lengthy video. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. So the supplements is the last bit and the least important bit. This is why I left it to last, because it's the least important. Probably I should have said it first, because most people are thinking supplement, do I need protein, do I need this? And I already know some people that just buy a protein powder straight away. You really don't need to do this. You can just consume all your proteins through food sources. It's not necessary. The only time I do recommend having supplements is one, if you don't have enough red meat in your diet. For example, me at the moment, because red meat is more expensive, so that's why I don't buy that shit. So yeah, if you don't have enough red meat in your diet, at least probably 2 to 3 times a week, even twice a week should be enough. Because red meat does contain creatine, and you can't get creatine in white meat. So that's when I recommend you have creatine. And I recommend you buy a protein powder if you're traveling or you just live in a country that doesn't eat a lot of protein. This is very, very unlikely. All the countries I know have enough, or traditionally eat enough protein. So yeah, those are all the factors you need to know about nutrition and building muscle with calisthenics and even with weights, right? So now let me get into the training aspect. Comment down below if you're still here, if you're still watching this video. I respect you. So yeah, training. Now, the most important factor of nutrition was calorie surplus. The most important factor with training is time under tension, especially when doing bodyweight exercises and progressive tension overload. I'm speaking too fast. So basically, progressive tension overload is adding more weight onto the bar. Of course, you're not really going to have a bar unless you're doing a pull-up, but adding more resistance over time. If you haven't got external resistance and you haven't got a weighted vest, you've just literally got your body weight, then this is what I recommend. This is for you. Listen up. After a while, after the exercise becomes too easy, after you're working in a rep range of more than like 12 reps, you need to start using a lot of variation, and this can lead into loads of different factors. Vary the tempo, right? For example, instead of doing like 15, 20 pull-ups, do it a bit slower. So like this, and then when you get to the top, slow again. Like this way, you vary up the tempo. And this is what I did when I went into the gym, right? I did like 30 kg dumbbell press, and there wasn't any heavier weights, so I just used tempo. And then when I went to a new gym, I went to up the weight real quick. So yeah, use a lot of variation, the tempo, and also you can, why can't I speak? Use more explosive exercises, right? So if you're dropping the tempo a lot more, start doing like really explosive exercises, and the whole benefit of this is that it recruits more muscle fibers, right? For example, if you're just doing 100 push-ups, that's really not gonna have a lot of time under tension. It's just gonna work towards endurance more than anything else. We want muscular hypertrophy typically in a rep range of about 8 to 15, right? I have made a lot of other videos on why you should use different rep ranges, but that's more applied to the gym. And this is bodyweight exercise. Okay, so now we have progressive tension overload, adding more resistance. Like I said, if you haven't got that, just use variation, use different tempos, switch up the exercises as well. That's really important. Use different angles. That's one thing I didn't mention. So say you're doing a push-up, instead of doing a regular push-up, lean forward a lot more, like so your hand placement is a lot more behind you, and that's going to bring on, of course, more shoulders, but it'll make the exercise a lot harder. Bang, start doing one-arm push-ups, start getting advanced, start doing one-arm chin-ups, assisted one-arm chin-ups, stuff like this. Use a lot of variation. So that's training aspect. I think I covered most of it. So to summarize, the nutrition is eating a calorie surplus, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. For the training aspect, it's progressive tension overload, so adding more resistance over a period of time using tempo in this case. And then volume load, like I said, this applies a bit more to the gym, so I don't want to get too much into that. But also, one thing to mention before I get into the recovery phase is time under tension is very important. And if you think about it, if you're doing all these like exercises, this is really, really, really important, so listen up. If you want to build muscle, I don't think you should be doing the fancy exercise like front levers, back levers, because you're not really working towards building muscle or physique. You're working more towards a goal. Fair enough, you will get stronger and stuff like this, but you're not going to be getting as much muscle if you concentrate on like pull-ups, dips, and stuff like this, like the actual exercise instead of the tricks, if you know what I'm trying to say here. So that's really important. This way you can use a lot of time under tension, right? For example, if you do a pull-up, like 2 seconds, and then another 2 seconds, but don't go too long. Don't go like more than 8 seconds for the whole rep. So don't do like 4 seconds like this or 4 seconds like that's a bit too long. That will be probably more detrimental than anything. So that's very important to mention. Okay, the last step, the third step, if you're still here, comment down below. I want to see you still watching, is recovery. Recovery is really important, and I always leave this to last. I don't know why. It's just because most people want to learn about nutrition and training before recovery. But if you're not sleeping 8 to 9 hours per night, you're messing up. You're messing up big time. You're not going to be able to recover at all. Not all. Drink at least, like say, 2 to 3 liters of water per day. Or if you go insane and you go big time like me, it's 4 to 6, even 6 to 8 when I'm dieting. Okay, now I'll cover those 3 factors. Like always, I'll try and leave you with as much value as possible. So what workout program or workout routine should you be doing? Personally, I even recommend you can do some full body workouts, and most of the time doing bodyweight exercise or workouts are mainly full body, if of course you train your upper body or your lower body. But push-ups, pull-ups, dips, they're all compound exercises. They don't target one muscle group. So you can do full body 3 to 4 times per week, or you can do what I did for a very long time, pull, push, legs. And so I did pull day, basically just all pull-ups, and then the next day was push day, so chest and triceps, and then third day was legs, right? So that's worked really effectively for me. Or you can do upper lower, but the one thing I don't like about that is there's not enough volume for your upper body compared to your lower body. I feel like it's just way more lower body dominant. So anyway, that's almost everything you need to know about building muscle with calisthenics. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know down in the comment section below. Please, I want to know who watched the video till the end. So anyway, subscribe down to the channel below, whatever. I've got like 300 and something videos on building muscle and nutrition and recovery and whatever you want. How to lose face fat, how to lose nose fat, whatever. So anyway, stay positive, stay smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.